So we have GPT 3.5 and GPT-4. I just want to give you a rough overview of the core differences between these two models to make sure that you can decide which model is the most appropriate one for you. So this is not a comprehensive list, these are just the core differences. Regarding access, the 3.5 model is available for every ChatGPT pricing plan. The GPT-4 model is not available for the free plan, so you have to pay to get access to the GPT-4 model. Inputs, so messages or prompts that can be made in GPT 3.5 are limited to text only. GPT-4 also allows you to add images or documents inside your prompt. The same thing applies to the output that can be generated. 3.5 only creates text, 4 creates text, images, and documents which you can then download to your computer. The cutoff date for the data the models were trained with is January 2022 for the 3.5 model. GPT-4 has more recent information, here the cutoff is April 2023. More importantly, GPT-4 also comes with many other benefits. It has more features in general. These features include DALL-E to create and analyze images. It also comes with a browsing feature. So although we have the cutoff date of April 2023, we can also retrieve latest information from the internet in our conversations. GPT-4 also provides more context, so it can remember more things, more information inside a conversation. It is the faster model, and it also comes with better server availability. In times of heavy usage, GPT 3.5 is sometimes not available. GPT-4 has some limitations regarding the amount of messages you can send within a certain time span, but it actually is always available, which can be a big advantage. What model should you use now? GPT 3.5 is totally sufficient to get started and for simple data request or fact-based questions. So if you have rather simple prompts, you can definitely use GPT 3.5 to get started and to learn ChatGPT. GPT-4 is the more powerful model though, so whenever you have complex questions that require various parameters and constraints that should be considered, if you need to use the internet with the web browsing feature, if you need to create images, if you have more complex, maybe coding related tasks, then GPT-4 is the by far superior model to GPT 3.5. And that's again the reason why we use GPT-4 in this course, because we want to show you ChatGPT with all the capabilities it has. But once again, you're totally fine to use GPT 3.5 to follow along this course, either as part of the free subscription or also as part of the Plus subscription, because as mentioned, GPT-4 has a message cap for a certain period. Therefore, to follow along this course, switching to 3.5 also inside the Plus plan can make sense. ChatGPT interface updates are quite common. Because of that, many parts of this course and also the next lectures were recorded with a slightly older interface. That's not a problem though, because the core concepts taught still apply. The main difference actually is the look of this model switching button here. So if you are a Plus user, you can use the GPT-4 model to follow along. For free users, this doesn't play a role, so just follow along the lectures. Throughout this course, we worked with prompts already. We learned that a prompt is your ChatGPT input that describes your problem or your request that you have for ChatGPT. And this makes prompts one of the most important, if not the most important feature that you have to know to make the most out of ChatGPT. Therefore, in this lecture, I want to have a look at some examples on how to use prompts, Some basic examples only though, because in the next module we'll dive into prompt engineering, and there we will learn all about prompts and how to write the perfect prompt for your needs. This lecture is just about the basics though, so let's get started with prompts which simply ask for simple facts. Such a prompt could be, how many citizens does Barcelona have? This is a simple fact-based question. ChatGPT quickly explains its cutoff date, September 2021, and then returns the population count according to its sources. Same thing applies for the next question. Who was the first president of the United States? This is also a simple fact-based question, a simple fact-based prompt. So no big surprise, ChatGPT returns that George Washington was the first president, again with some additional information. These questions are not related to each other, and these are also questions you could use Google for, because it would return many results, but all results would state the population count of Barcelona and that George Washington was the first president of the United States. So simple facts. Also fact-related but slightly different is the following prompt. Who is Michael Jordan? Now, most of you would say, well, Michael Jordan is a basketball player. And if I ask ChatGPT, no big surprise, ChatGPT also comes up with Michael Jordan here. Nothing wrong about this, and indeed I was looking for Michael Jordan, but ChatGPT came up with this solution because based on the patterns and probabilities it has due to its dataset it was trained with, it assumes that if I look for Michael Jordan, I'm looking for the basketball player. If I would Google Michael Jordan, I would find other Michael Jordans probably. Still, the basketball player would be amongst the top results. So this is nothing bad. ChatGPT only returns one result. We know that already. However, these are simple fact-based prompts. I mentioned that. But we can also use prompts differently in ChatGPT. ChatGPT is context aware. This means it remembers, let's call it remembers, the topics discussed in a specific chat. Therefore, we can also write prompts assuming that ChatGPT is aware of what was discussed earlier in this chat. Let's say we ask ChatGPT what a Wiener Schnitzel is. In case you don't know about it, a Wiener Schnitzel is a very delicious Austrian food. Then we would get an answer, and then we could ask, please give me the recipe. We don't mention the schnitzel, but as ChatGPT is context aware, it should know that the recipe refers to the schnitzel. And even more, we could ask afterwards that we need a shopping list with all ingredients for this specific recipe, but as I know that schnitzel contains meat, I bought the meat already, so this is not required. So let's now add exactly these prompts to ChatGPT and let's see what the output looks like. So I'll add a new chat for this. I could also add it in this chat here, but to keep things structured, I'll use a new chat. And now we ask what the schnitzel is, and no big surprise, ChatGPT tells us about the Austrian dish and gives us some more facts about the schnitzel. And now with our next prompt, please give me the recipe, we initiate this conversation-like style with ChatGPT. So instead of mentioning that we want to cook a schnitzel again, we assume that ChatGPT knows that we are talking about the schnitzel, so ChatGPT remembers the context of our conversation. Therefore, by just adding, please give me the recipe, we get back the recipe for a traditional Wiener Schnitzel. And this is what makes GPT such a great tool actually. It feels like human interaction. You can't just ask questions, you don't have to repeat yourself because you know that ChatGPT knows what you are talking about. Keep in mind though, ChatGPT is just a large language model, so it's all about probabilities and patterns. But still, the feeling is like interacting with a human being, and this makes it very intuitive. So now ChatGPT provided a recipe and also the ingredients. And now in the next prompt where we ask for the shopping list with all ingredients, we refer to the initial prompt where we talk about the schnitzel and to the second prompt where we talk about the recipe. Additionally, we also want to exclude something, the meat, as we bought this already. This prompt again shows us this conversation-like style. ChatGPT understood, it doesn't really understand it, I mentioned this already, but pretends to understand what we want to have and therefore provides the shopping list for the recipe of the previous output, excluding the meat. So these are two different ways how to use prompts in ChatGPT. Either this Google-like style we all know from the past, or this new and actually amazing conversation-like style, which takes the entire conversation into context and therefore makes it a lot more exciting to get the output that you need.